Spring practice actually begins this week, Chris. What are you
Yeah.
looking for and what do we hope to hear?
Well, I don't know if we're going to have time to touch on it all, Eric, but I got five real things I'm looking for right now. And
Okay.
obviously, number one for me is who is QB1? You know, I want to see one of these guys come out and show me that they've got a mastery of that playbook, that they can perform at a high level, and more importantly, that they've got the swagger. I think we saw last year, or the last 2 years, but in the quarterback battle a couple years ago, we saw CJ had the swagger. There was just something about him and the way he took the field, the way he led the team. And for me, that swagger is important because it shows me you believe in yourself as a quarterback. Because by God, if you don't believe in yourself, that doesn't give me a lot of hope to believe in you as a fan. So I need to see one of these guys come out there and show that. Whether it's Devin Brown, whether it's Kyle McCord. Of course, I think most people are leaning towards McCord. But as we talked about last week, that gap isn't huge, Eric. So I want to see which one does it.
Obviously, it's the number one thing. Can you have somebody um, grab the bull by the horns, take that position and run with it? And if Kyle McCord doesn't, and he allows Devin Brown to sneak in this thing and make this a better competition, which is what we're hearing, like you said,
Yeah,
than what we are anticipating. How does that look throughout the summer heading into the season? That is critical. I think the spring,
especially when the second portal window opens.
well, I think Ryan Day almost would rather that happen
So he doesn't
bec-
have to make the call.
so that he doesn't have to make the call that he does, so he doesn't lose both. I can totally see him not naming a starter. In fact, I'll be very surprised if he does. Now, he
Yeah,
kind of is leaning on that he's going to name one as soon as he knows, based off of his interview he had about a month or so ago.
yeah,
But um, that's hard for me to believe. I
yeah.
just don't know that that's necessarily what we could possibly see happen. I still think that there's a very good chance that he doesn't name a starter. He keeps his decision close to the vest, and he names one, a couple weeks before the season starts. Can I give one that I'm really looking forward to?
Go for it.
I want to see the improvement on this defense. Now, there was a lot of buzz last year going into the season that this defense had improved. And I think they
It made
did.
strides.
They made some strides. Now, Jim Knowles said that he has only put in about 60 to 70% of that defense. They were a little bit limited last year and some of the play calls that he could play. Now, there's two things about that. Number one, it's just new players, new system, right? There's
Right.
going to need
Personnel
some time.
system. Yeah.
Number two was Larry Johnson's refusal to play three down linemen and allow that fourth lineman to be a stand up DN slash linebacker hybrid, aka the cowboy position or the
Yeah.
jack position. Is that two heads butting each other in a contention, and one of the reasons why we just didn't see all of his defense implemented? That's a question I've got. Now, given the immense amount of talent we have on this defense, that is something I think that we need to be watching this spring very closely. Let's look at a couple of our listeners here. Don Hoffer says, I want to see the secondary get the fundamentals correct every snap, not falling down when in coverage and wrapping up when tackling. Underline, highlight the last part,
Yes,
wrapping up
absolutely.
when tackling. It is a epidemic throughout all of football right now, not just at Ohio State, not just in college. The wanting to make the big hit, to be the highlight, to want to knock somebody out. It's stupid. I can't tell. It
And it
creates bad.
causes you penalties.
It creates bad habits when it comes
Yeah.
to tackling. Chris Spielman used to always say, you tackle with your eyes. You put your
Yes.
face mask in the chest of the ball carrier or the receiver, whoever it is, and you run through them. You wrap them up. I don't know why this is so hard for people to understand and see. It blows my mind. Don, great one there. How about Brad Oberdings? I think Kyle will be solid this year. He's pretty high on
Yeah,
Kyle McCord getting that position
I
and
don't
winnings.
disagree that he's got the potential to be solid.
His number one question are the defensive backs. Of course, we got some new ones, Chris.
Yeah,
Some transfers coming in. So that's again, how do they look? How quickly can they be acclimated to this defense? Two solid guys, one a quarterback, which is, pretty easy, just cover the guy, right? The other one a safety, which, everybody talks about this being a safety driven defense. Don Hoffer chimes in again, the offensive line competing and seeing who will take the tackle and center spots in the fall. It's probably one on your list. It's on
that was
mine.
one on my list. Absolutely. I mean, especially given the fact that we haven't really hit the portal for that position hard. That means to me that
Not from a
Ryan
lack of
Day,
trying, brother.
Ryan Day and Justin Fry, I think, are very confident in what they have in Columbus. And that maybe makes me feel a little bit better, but at the same time, well, let's call it what it is. I have called Ryan Day out the last couple of years because we've struggled in those big games. And if we struggle to show that physicality and actually get over the hump in those big games, these are the guys that Ryan Day could be hanging his career on. You know, I mean, let's go. Let's call it what it is. So he better have faith in them. And the fact that he does have that faith does put my mind at ease a little bit, I believe. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him make a dive into the portal on that second window either. So,
Especially if someone goes down with injury.
yeah,
Larry Daniels has stopped those tight end crossing routes on D, so he wants to see the linebackers step into some of those passing lanes. And Larry, here's the thing about those linebackers: they're going to have a whole nother year of development now.
yeah,
They could have went pro. I think that Tommy Eichenberg would have been a second day draft pick,
yeah.
and I think that Steel Chambers probably could have snuck into the 5th or 6th round. Both of them coming back. I think Tommy has the opportunity to be an All-American. I believe he has an opportunity to win the Linebacker of the Year award. And I think Steel Chambers, once again, can increase his draft prospects with another good year. He was second on the team in tackles. He gets forgotten because of how good of a year Tommy had. Tommy Two Thumbs, but those are going to be key, I think, to this defense this year.
Well, let's not forget that that's not just another year of linebacker, and actually it's being mentioned by Paul Buckeye right here. That's a year of linebacker with not only Knowles, but with the little animal back in Columbus.
Yeah. So, yeah, Paul says with the animal coaching linebackers and the talent additions added, we will have a top 5 to 6 defense in the nation. Woo! Paul Buckeye, confident. That would be great. That'd be great.
No, we better, Eric, because Knowles, I think the defense is a big question for me from the standpoint of I'm going to be watching for that. Knowles is he's in his second year as the head coach of the defense. This guy has some of the best talent in the country on that defensive line, along with the best defensive line coach in the country. You've brought in the little animal to help you with the linebackers. That's going to give you more time to focus on the defense as a whole. You've got 2 really good transfer defensive backs that came in. You've got one of the best young stars in Sonny Styles, and this may go to his. He asked, "Will Proctor start this season?" I don't think so. I really think Sonny Styles is going to get that start. I mean, I think that this year,
I don't know. Do they play the same position though? I think Sonny's going to be down more in the box.
You think he'll be down more in the box?
Yeah.
I think that. I don't know.
Well,
they're going to start him somewhere. He is going to be in the starting safety rotation. I got to imagine Lathan's going to be in the starting safety rotation, and I think that the third safety is going to be the transfer kid. I really do.
Ryan says, wondering who will transfer as far as QBs. I really think McCord or Brown will transfer. I agree. One will transfer if they think the other one is going to be the starter.
Here's the thing that may have helped with keeping Kyle McCord here. Penn State's got a starting quarterback.
Kyle McCord's dad played at Rutgers.
Yeah.
You don't think that they would take him and name him the starter tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely. Shiano would be doing be like Bruce Willis in The Last Boy Scout up on the sign dancing a jig. I'm telling you.
He's a Philadelphia boy, and I want to say that
that's not that far from Rutgers.
Rutgers is close to Philadelphia, is just as close to Philly, if not closer than Penn
State.
State is.
Yeah.
So it's a good
Well,
question.
and don't forget, Maryland's right in that area too.
Hmm. Hmm.